Oh, finest Belgian chocolate.
Got some mousse, darling.
Mousse. Okay.
Right, we're finally ready. Marge and Keith have gone about their travels to get food, and we now have alone time.
Oh, I think Jesus has returned on his motorbike.
Again, not a sentence you hear every day.
No.
So, cheers.
Yes, actually, cheers. Actually, it's quite nice. We're doing this in the evening this time.
Evening.
And
it's very peaceful. It's about 8 p.m. Only an hour later than we planned to do this. But you know, Sagittarius attitudes to life. What can I say?
And today we have got a special treat because today we will not be talking about world affairs. I mean, it could come under world affairs.
We're not talking about the usual highly important educational subjects that we're usually talking about.
No. Today, dear sirs and friendly madams and kind children, although children preferably should not be watching this video because it will be rated M for mature.
Not suitable for children, may I please reiterate this. Anyway, continue.
Thank you. Today, we shall be attempting to read a lovely piece of fan fiction. I'm sure we've all heard of fan fiction. There are many great stories out there, some of which I have actually read. I'm not ashamed to say that I've held my hand up and read some fan.
Who hasn't?
Precisely, I'm sure we've all been there. It's all nice to imagine ourselves appear in these movies and books and shows that we all love so much. And the wonderful people who write fan fiction have enabled us to do that through original characters and reader inserts.
So, we are going to be reading, so a little disclaimer, it's just important to reiterate that it's not our own work, and I'm fully aware that it's a lazy way of providing entertainment for viewers and ourselves because we didn't write this, but it grants us a lot of entertainment. So if you are wanting to check it out, the fan fiction that we're going to be reading today is based on Thor, because the Brotherhood, the origin of Brotherhood,
which we will explain in
due course. So this is called The Prince and the Road to Redemption,
which is a sequel. So we are jumping straight in with the second book instead of reading the prequel. But if you'd like to further read the sequel or the prequel, go to fanfiction.net.
And I will be reading, as we're actors, naturally we must make this theatrical, darling. So I will be narrating because that is something I'm famous for. Hashtag undermilkwood 2018. Yes, so I'm going to be reading the descriptive narration language. Liz will be employing her many voices for the characters themselves.
She will be attempting.
So, whenever you're ready, I'm coming to you live from my bedroom. Liz is positioned sensually in front of her fireplace.
I must just say, if I do start laughing, this is not because of the work. It is because my very unstable brain. I'm already laughing.
We're not mature, okay? We're not mature. And we have gone for the rated M section of fan fictions. We're really jumping in the deep end here. So this could be difficult to get through purely because of the subject matter, not the quality of the writing. These people are very talented and their imaginations are frankly amazing, probably worthy to be made into films. But I hope that you can enjoy this with us.
And before we start reading, I'd like to point out that because I do have auburn hair, this is not why I am reading the character.
Although it's also, it's not why.
So it's not why.
Right, okay. Chapter 1. 3 years after Loki has been banished to Midgard, adjusting to its strange customs and finding love for the first time in his life, he wants to make amends with his family, in brackets, sequel to The Prince and the Musician. So that's the name of the first book. Chapter 1, Preparation and Realization.
Loki, cut it out. I'm going to be late for work.
It was a beautiful summer morning. Graydon was supposed to have the day off, but her boss called her to fill in a shift. Loki had a day off from his bank teller position.
Let's just talk about this. Bank teller position. Now, that's someone who sits behind the counter, isn't it? And like deals with people's problems. I think it's like the American version.
Like an advisor.
Yeah. Because I thought a teller was someone who like gave out the money.
Gypsy Mermaid, are we suggesting that Loki would go to Earth and become a financial advisor?
Because I could actually see that. There's many times I've walked past Lloyd's Bank, and because it's green and black, I've always thought he could work in Lloyd's Bank.
He's just there, like. I would say that the credit card that you should be going with is definitely the Reward Black.
The gold.
The gold is maybe a little reaching too high right now, but definitely the black card would be great for you at this moment in your life, judging by your outgoings.
I totally see it. I see it in the smart suit. See it. So okay, I give that maybe 7 points.
Okay.
Out of 10. I don't know. We're not rating. I don't know why. Anyway.
7 out of 10 for possible job options for Loki in Midgard. Yeah. Loki had a day off from his bank teller position and was eager to spend it lying in bed with his favourite person in the world. Being his usual early bird self, he started a pot of coffee and went to shower. Graydon was preparing for a shower of her own. I love having a shower of my own. When Loki called out to her,
"Join me." That was a very female Loki. I'm very sorry.
She could hear the mischief in his voice. Oh, was it sexy? Without responding, she opened the bathroom door as quietly as she could and snuck in. She dropped her robe and silently opened the shower door. Her stealth was pretty epic. Loki, with his back turned, was humming when she ran her soft hands down his back gently.
Can I just jump in? What does it mean by her stealth was epic?
Can you have epic stealth? Is that not a juxtaposition?
Oh, I don't know, because like after me and having to find out what tactile meant last week, when it comes to now her stealth was epic, I'm a little bit confused.
Well, I think that judging by what's about to happen next, I think things are about to get pretty tactile.
Right.
So prepare yourselves.
I'll try and prepare my voice. Christ.
He shot up at the contact, and shivers ran down his spine.
Sorry, I'm laughing at my next line. I can't purr. Morning, handsome. I will not get a job as erotic reading. I'm so sorry, everybody.
He slowly turned around to face her.
Good morning, my sweet girl. I love when you greet me like this.
Ooh. He said, pulling her close to him and
Don't you to finish the sentence. It's a full sentence.
tapping her bottom in his hands, gently patting it.
I mean, it might be quite soothing, if a little bit, maybe childlike.
I love a soothing bottom pat.
As people do it all the time.
The shower door began to fog from the beautifully hot water and the even hotter passion from its two current occupants. She leaned up to kiss him, and they began to shower.
So, how long are you going to be at work today, since technically speaking, it's your day off?
He asked.
Boss man said until 2 this afternoon, so it should be a quick day. Very well. The sooner you bring your sexy mortal ass home, the sooner you can get your surprise, my darling.
He winked.
Really? It must be a pretty... Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. It must be pretty big, babe. You've been hinting at this all week. Oh, yes. I can't wait to see the look on your face. And don't you dare go ask Anne. I've already threatened her to be still, you little sneak. I must hold my head up in the air and say, I'm really sorry to be picky, but it does need a comma in there, because otherwise it does not read well.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for commas. Just because I've been myself told many times that your sentences are far too long, you either need to break them up or put a comma in. So
yeah.
Other than that, I'm liking it.
Oh, where's my place? How do you know? He laughed.
How do you know I was... Damn you, Loki, you know me too well. Indeed I do. You're my woman, are you not? Damn right, just as you're my man.
They both got that lustful look in their eyes, and he pulled her into another deep kiss. She went to reach to turn the knob off, but Loki...
Just, you know, the shower knob, just for those people out there, the shower knob.
Just so we're clear on what knob we're discussing right now. But Loki grabbed her and lifted her up, ready to take her right then and there. Bloody hell. Before he could go any further, Graydon playfully spoke.
Loki, cut it out. I'm going to be late for work. Can't I make love to my woman in the morning? Of course you can. But you know what happens once our Energizer bunny asses get going? Sorry. Let's read this again now that I know what I'm actually saying. Of course you can, but you know what happens once our Energizer bunny asses get going. Now off with the water, sweetie. Oh, sweetie.
He reluctantly put her down and sighed as he reached for the shower knob. She kissed him in between his shoulder blades softly and smacked his bottom, leaping out of the shower, laughing down the hall.
Dearest, why do you insist on toying with me this way? You know I will only come for you. I will only come for you, like chase you. Sorry.
I feel like this is very cleverly written. I feel like there's very intentional language being used here.
That's pretty good, actually. I'm surprised I haven't found this before.
He turned around and very slowly sauntered into the walk-in closet as he silently thanked the gods for that view. Down below, he began to ache for her. Damn, he would get her back for this. 30 minutes later, they were fully dressed, having breakfast, when the doorbell rang.
Hey, good morning. Are you ready to go? Sure, come in. Let me grab my bag.
Anne walked up to the table and grabbed a muffin.
I mean, I wouldn't allow someone to just grab a muffin.
You just
Like, you'd ask first.
You're just gonna grab my muffin without my permission? Did I say you could grab my muffin?
Wow, these are awesome.
She said, stuffing her face.
I know. I made them.
Loki said pridefully with a smirk on his face. Oh, sorry, that word is not spelt together. Loki said pridefully with a smirk on his face.
Ah. And it only took you nearly a year to learn. Pretty slow for a god, huh?
Anne laughed.
If only I had my powers at this moment, I could erase your mouth completely.
Loki rolled his eyes, still smiling. At first, things were rocky between he and Anne. She was very protective over Graydon and didn't trust this stranger that she took into her home after not even a full day of knowing him. When Loki explained that he was foreign royalty from a distant realm, Anne bugged the hell out. He had to be some sort of con artist, but he didn't really have any real motives to cause harm. He was simply an outcast on a strange planet. One day, while Graydon was upstairs doing laundry, Anne decided to have a talk with Loki in the lounge room. In talking to Loki, Anne could see exactly why Graydon fell for him. Graydon and Loki were total opposites, but were exactly the same.
You guys really are perfect for each other. It's sickening, but don't get a big head about it.
Anne rolled her eyes.
I can see you really care for her. Oh, no, sorry, this is Loki speaking. I can see you really care for her. You are her sister, and I must love anyone she loves. And I only want to make her happy.
Loki spoke.
Which you have. She makes you pretty damn giddy for a man of such grand and badass power. A guy that treats her the way she deserves is good in my book. But if you hurt her, your royal godly ass getting kicked, your highness.
Anne spoke very seriously, dropping the usual sarcasm from her voice.
Point understood.
Loki passed her his bag of chips. Did he actually shudder under Anne's gaze? Shutter?
Shudder, do we think?
Shudder? Shudder? Is that supposed to be shudder? Wow, didn't see that coming. Plus 10 for her, I'm quite impressed, he thought. That's how their brother and sisterly friendship began. Anne was a great verbal sparring partner. Sorry. Clearly my days as a voice recording artist are numbered. Anne was a great verbal sparring partner in the insults department, and Loki or Anne wouldn't have it any other way.
Let's be fair, we haven't actually read this before. This is the first time reading. So, we're finding our feet with it.
We are. I'm seeing this for the first time, doing my best here. On a phone as well, so it's like...
Yeah.
Winning over the best friend? Check. Graydon's older brother was a bit harder, as the topic of brothers was still sensitive. A name drop. Rain was protective over his little sister, a feeling he knew all too well. An overbearing, handsome, boisterous man that caved into his sister's every whim. He reminded Loki a lot of Thor. She had his heart, and if Loki broke it, god or not, prince or not, Rain would kick his ass from Earth to Asgard. I'm sorry, but like...
It was a fly. It just flew too close. I'm sorry.
I thought you were being taken by the candle fire.
Oh God. We must warn fire hazard. I am kind of probably not leaning in the best way, but it's all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this human man, Loki would not be afraid of this man.
No, he's also called Rain.
Yeah, interesting.
I I like it. I've never met someone called Rain before.
Rain and Graydon. Interesting sibling names.
I'd like to know where it comes from.
But yes, I just would like to say, good luck to kick any kind of Asgardian's ass anywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
Not possible. He was still suspicious of Loki because, come on, he literally fell from the sky and came virtually out of nowhere, but he gave him the benefit of the doubt because he saw just how much Loki loved his baby sister. He saw how much she loved him and just how happy they made each other. Rain wanted to have a man-to-man talk with him soon, so for now, he was okay with it. But he was watching him, and watching carefully.
All right, girlie, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to go start the car. Thanks for the muffin, Loki. See you later, and good luck with the surprise.
Anne said as she walked out the door. Graydon finally put her shoes on and also heading towards the car, closing the door. Loki stood there with her bag in his hand, counting down until she realised what she was missing.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The door swung open and she looked up.
I thought...
She was cut off.
Your purse, my love.
Loki said, finishing his lover's sentence.
God, I'm such a spaz sometimes.
She rolled her eyes.
You're my spaz. Now give us a kiss.
Loki chuckled. She pulled him down to kiss him.
Smart ass,
she said in between kisses.
Tell me something I haven't heard,
he said sarcastically.
Okay, not quite sure about this next. Is this a term of endearment? But I love you, bum. See you later. See you later.
I love you, bum.
It's like, is it I love your bum or I love you, bum?
Bum?
Or bub? Bunny? I don't know. Oh, crap. Sorry. Just, lying down next to the fire isn't as comfortable as the fantasies might say it is.
Well, the fantasies are always serving us false information, I think. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, like the bit in Beauty and the Beast where they all sit down by the fire. But granted, they aren't like leaning on some cushion like this. They are like sat upright. But my head will be cut off, so.
We'll just continue the show. Right. From Bum.
I love you, bum. See you later.
She smirked, walking out the door.
I love you more.
Loki replied. Sorry about the pauses. We're not the best at this. Loki replied. As he watched the car speed off, he thought to himself, a bum? I am no such thing. I am a god and a prince. Ha!
Maybe we need to read before we actually stop and question, because we've just answered our own question.
Now I know what she meant by bum. She was literally calling him a bum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was calling him a bum.
Right, let's take a break. How much have we read? Right. Honestly, Graydon or Anne didn't see why they were at work today. Everyone knows that lounges, especially if you're a native New Yorker, come alive at night time, so being here at 7 a.m. was well too early. Mr. Giuseppe had been very close friends with Graydon's parents since before her and her brother were born, so taking her and Anne into his restaurant, Mirage Lounge, was a no-brainer. Rain, on the other hand, didn't really care for that particular scene. He instead decided to open up a fitness centre, which was pretty successful. He played tons of sports in high school, so it was only natural he felt to go down this path. Overall, Rain was very content with his choice. Mr. Giuseppe and his wife never had kids of their own, so Graydon, her brother and Anne were their kids, especially after the accident. Her parents asked the Giuseppes to watch over their kids should anything ever happen to them. He loved the business, but adding Graydon and subsequently Anne to the staff not only boosted business, but he truly felt like his extended daughters had come home. It made him and his wife happy. Anne thrived here. She was excellent at promoting the lounge and booking venues. Graydon had a way with people. She was magic. Any celeb that came in always asked for her. We're allowing celebs in here now. Wow, didn't know we were dealing with the big times. Like, hi.
Yeah.
Oh, wait for this name drop.
Yeah.
She nearly died when Brad and Angelina complimented her beauty. She could swear they were both hitting on her. Or maybe she just imagined it. Who cares? They both knew she existed. Check this.
Oh.
I was so shook that my microphone fell on the floor.
Yeah, you did a mic drop right there.
I literally just did a mic drop. What I was about to say... Sorry, I've got a very delicate setup here. There we go. Is... Oh, my
hair. Okay. Just go full frontal. Just...
Love that she nearly had a threesome with Brad and Angelina. Like, hi. Also, Liz, what parallels to your life this is? So similar. It's basically the same.
Is it?
But she's... Because Graydon has auburn hair, and it's like, oh yeah, when Brad and Angelina came in and complimented my beauty. Just, this happens every day.
Oh.
When you have to explain the...
Yeah, it happens every day. Twice a day. You know. All the time. Hey, I've never been complimented.
Then came the more unpleasant nights when Mr. Giuseppe held her in his arms, comforting her from failed auditions and false promises of music and fame. He knew about her secondary dream to one day have a place of her own as great as his. He knew one day he would retire and pass down this place to her. He had made enough to support his wife. Mrs. Giuseppe knew it was the right choice. They loved their kiddos.
So, boss, what are we in for today?
Anne asked.
Good news, folks. We're adding some new things to the menu. Really? That sounds killer, so what's it gonna be?
Graydon asked.
We're adding some classic American-style dishes, some more cakes, and also more drinks. We got some new chefs and servers coming in today. Matter of fact, they should be on their way in a bit. So you're going to get them familiar with the things around here.
He spoke. A guy who looked to be in his mid-20s came in, followed by a young woman looking to be about the same age group as well. Mr. G spoke.
This here is Peter Parker and Anna Marie. Just more name dropping. And also, I apologise, I did not realise this was America, so I have not been attempting an American accent.
Yeah, I didn't really know at first either. Didn't really think about it.
Nope.
They both smiled and waved.
Most people just call me Rogue, sugar. Sure is a mighty fine place you got yourself here. There we go. There's an American accent kind of. And most people call me Pete. That was an Australian accent.
Most people call me Pete.
Yeah, but call me Pete, they do. Don't the boy.
Most people call me Pete. His name's Simon. He's a kookaburra. Continue. Oh, the young man also smiled.
I was going to say, did you say, hey, I'm Graydon, and this is my fucking hour. Hi, Hi, hey, I'm Graydon, and this is my best friend and practical sister? Okay, practical sister Anne.
Everyone shook hands and exchanged greetings. Peter knew he was going to love it here. He was a pretty good cook at home with his Aunt May, thanks to his late Uncle Ben teaching him what he knew. Rogue loved herself some good food and was a social butterfly. They were both excited to get started. What a marvellous universe for them.
Love it.
Loki sat at home lounging about on the couch watching a Once Upon a Time marathon, completely engrossed in it.
Did you just say lounging around on the coach?
On the couch!
Lounging around on the couch.
Lounging on the couch!
I can certainly relate to Rumpelstiltskin. He and Belle are most suitable together,
he said as Tetris meowed in agreement with him. This furry beast really grew on him. Wherever he went, Tetris wasn't too far behind. He thought back to how Graydon, like Belle, loved him for who he was and accepted his past. He, like Rumpel, always wanted to be a better man for her despite his past errors. She really was the beauty to his beast. It had been 3 years since his banishment, and since then he's been a work in progress. How is it that this mortal has become my entire existence, he thought to himself. She was beautiful, adorable, intelligent, sexy, and not afraid to speak her mind. Christ. Like, does she want to do anything that's not good? Like, does she want to have any flaws?
I mean, he just described her as the beauty to his beast, and let's face it, Belle was pretty damn... She was there.
He was it, really. Puts the rest of us to shame. She made him laugh, and like him, spoke fluent sarcasm and mischief. Just her very presence in a room without words spoken calmed him instantly. Though he was surrounded by many in Asgard, he still felt alone. With Graydon, she crept her way into his heart and cast away any trace of loneliness he had ever felt. When he revealed his true Jotun form, did I pronounce that correctly?
Jotun,
that's it. When he revealed his true Jotun form, she didn't jump, scream, or back away. Instead, she was astounded by it and called him beautiful. Loki never thought he'd hear those words coming from anyone regarding him. He was completely shocked. He thought he was imagining. Of all places, he found his mate in Midgard. He loved her with every ounce of his being. Her body, her laugh, her beautiful voice, her scent, her habit of forgetting things and her virtuous patience, her uncanny ability to read his emotions without saying a thing. He could swear she was a mind reader. Their lovemaking was through the stratosphere. He couldn't live without this woman. Same.
I mean, like, who wouldn't?
Like, I can so relate.
Yeah.
Loki knew that he wanted to be with her forever. Of that he was certain. Though he was truly happy, he felt a twinge of sadness. Though he was hurt and angry with his family, despite the indirect rivalry Odin had created between his two sons, he did miss Thor. Through it all, though Loki was having none of it, Thor tried his best to comfort him and include him in everything he did.
No matter your form, no matter what happens, you will always be my little brother, Loki. I love you. Our lineage cannot ever change that. I will always do my utmost to protect you. That was channeling this other book that I was reading at the moment, that bloody was. Gee.
Those were the last words he remembered his big brother saying before all hell broke loose. By the time Loki had a change of heart, it was too late. The frost giants had already been let into the palace, destroying everything in their paths on their search for Odin.
You must come quickly, my sons. Your father has requested you at once.
Frigga spoke as she ran to her sons. Loki felt a sickening feeling in his stomach. A sharp pang of guilt spread through his body.
Father, how did they get past Heimdall? I do not understand.
Thor spoke, confused. Odin spoke with his back facing everyone. He took a long pause before he began.
I suppose someone in this room knows how this has transpired. I'm really sorry, Anthony Hopkins. I'm not trying to be you.
He turned around with his eyes locked on Loki.
Isn't that true, my son?
Thor and Frigga looked at one another puzzled. Whatever remorse Loki felt in that moment was wiped clean. He was genuinely sorry for hurting his dear mother, but he was not sorry for his golden-haired brother. The brother that was above him his whole life, because of that man. Odin. His body began to radiate a green glow of electricity, coiling around him like an emerald serpent, cracking through the air. He was pulsing with venomous magic. The once bright sky was clouding over with darkness. Guilt gave way to searing hot rage as he spoke with acid-dripping words.
All my life you thought Thor, your precious son, beloved by all above me. I didn't exist if he was in the same place as I. I was never good enough, strong enough, suitable enough to be anything but in his big oafish shadow for the rest of my days. I wondered what did I do or say that would cause you to blatantly disregard me, Father. I wanted to be the best I could be for you, but you never saw that I threw my best into everything I've done. Ah, yes, it all makes sense now. I was not born of your blood. I am a monster, a Jotun, a child's nightmare. I am a stolen relic, too small even for my own kind. I was left to die. You should have left me where you found me. Ah, yes, I was the one who concealed the frost giants and gave them access to find you, so that they may smite you and my former brother, so that I may take the crown and bring the people of Asgard to their knees.
Frigga ran out of the throne room, shattered in tears, her heart in shock and disbelief at Loki's anger.
Loki, you cannot mean this. You are angry right now. Come, let us speak, please.
Thor pleaded with him, but Loki was too blinded by his own rage and hurt to even hear Thor.
Father, you kept this from him. Why?
Thor was so confused, feeling pained and hurt for his brother.
Now is not the time for sentiments, brother. It's too late.
Loki lunged at Odin with his staff, but was blocked by the guard's sword. Odin held his staff to the skies and summoned its power.
No!
Frigga cried, running back into the room towards Odin. In a blink, they all disappeared. They all appeared in the Bifrost.
My son, I will not try to fight you, but please know this is not what I wanted. You leave me no choice.
Odin spoke the words of banishment. Thor begged and pleaded for his brother to be spared, but it was to no avail. Frigga stood helpless and distraught. She hugged him tight enough to suppress some of Loki's anger, just in time to bid her farewell for what may be the last time he may see her. He fought the urge to reciprocate sentiment as Thor nearly broke him in a goodbye hug. Before he knew it, he was crashing towards Midgard. That had been 3 years ago. He was certainly not the same person he was then. Graydon helped with that, something he was thankful for each day. He decided right then and there that if he wanted to marry her, he would have to return home to seek his father's blessing and have the wedding ceremony in the palace. After all, he was still a prince. He wanted her to meet his family and see his home, where he came from. She would be a princess of Asgard and partake of the apples that would make her an immortal goddess. More than that, he wanted to make amends and set things right with his family. He wanted them to meet this woman that changed his life for the better.
And that is not the end of the chapter, but it's the end for now to leave you hooked and hopefully wanting more of this wonderfully written fan fiction that we have been attempting to read to you today. I apologize. Oh.
I was pleasantly surprised. That was dramatic.
That was dramatic. I apologise for my very poor attempts of reading in for these people, even though I am attempting to be an acting student. I'm making excuses now, but you know, that's...
Feel free, if you have come across this video, to leave a comment letting us know what you think, and if you'd like us to continue with this one, or if we should do a different one. You know what? Yeah.
Like DC, TV show,
Harry Potter,
books, Lord of the Rings, baby.
Yeah. It wasn't as racy throughout the whole thing as I thought. I was actually, in the beginning, I was actually like, I don't know if I can get through reading racy stuff for like an entire...
No.
I was worried we were going to go into a full-on sex scene and I was going to completely break down. Till next time, Brother
This has been Story Time with Brother Nay.
You know, enjoy the weekend, get yourself some wine or a beverage of choice, and enjoy yourselves, because that is what life is for.
And good luck to all those people returning to work on Saturday the 4th of July. I am one of them. Just remember, wash your hands regularly, do not touch your face, and please be aware of keeping a distance so you do not come onto someone's trace and tracker form, which may prevent you from providing.
And in the spirit of the fan fiction that we just read, in Liz's words, do not come onto someone's trace and tracker form in either sense. Don't do it in terms of your presence, and don't come on anyone's forms in general, because that's quite rude, and
they might not have copies.
Even more unsanitary, honestly. Keep those liquids to yourself. Peace out. Friday.
Gotta get down on Friday. Whoa.